Welcome to today's talk, which is one of my intuitive coaching sessions that I'm sharing. So, my intuitive coaching sessions are about basically what it sounds like, getting in tune with your intuitive voice, identifying the ego voice as well, letting it speak when it needs to come through, but guiding you to mainly speak for an hour with your intuition to get this really beautiful dialogue and feeling of what it's like to have access to that soul voice, that intuitive voice that is inside of you. So I hope that you really enjoy this session, and let's get right to it. I'd like to ask permission to speak to your intuition.
Yes,
And
please.
okay. And so, but sit in it and see if you can feel the yes come through. Because intuition's always excited to talk to us, but sometimes the ego will jump in first and be like, no. And we might have to do something else first.
Feels quite open.
Okay. Okay. So intuition is ready to talk. Okay.
Yeah.
Intuition, what is the first topic that we would like to talk about right now? Sometimes it's not going to be necessarily that relationship thing. It might be too much at first. So see what comes up.
Yeah, I think the relationship is really on my mind
Okay.
because it has been on my mind for a while now.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's on my mind quite a lot lately.
Okay. Okay. So sitting in and seeing where intuition wants to start. What part of it would we like to talk about first?
I find there is a sadness
Okay.
or like a disappointment from realizing that things are not as I thought they were
Mm-hmm.
in our relationship.
And so intuition, what would you like to say about the sadness? What is it about? Is it serving something? What more can we say about the sadness?
I think the sadness is more about placing myself in a very similar situation to what I have experienced in the past.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This still sounds like ego, so try to breathe in and go a little bit deeper if we can. It's going to come out. It's not going to be coming from your brain.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's really coming from my heart
Okay.
rather than my brain. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Intuition, why is there a similarity of past relationships coming forth right now? Why is this feeling of sadness that feels similar to other things before? Why is that happening?
What comes up? It's just a lack of self-love.
Okay. Okay. So intuition, how can there be more self-love in this moment and moving forward?
To listen to my heart more
Okay. And
and do what's right for me rather than over considering other people.
okay. And so what does that look like in the simplest forms?
Staying true to myself, setting boundaries where needed,
Mm-hmm.
and really trusting myself, trusting my intuitive wisdom.
Okay.
I think the sadness is also due to that lack of trust in that wisdom. I'm just questioning it a lot.
So intuition, why is that being questioned right now? Why is the trust being questioned? in self?
I think I really want to believe in my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I just give him a lot of chances. And I also don't want to lose the relationship.
So I want to say thank you to ego, because that was definitely ego coming through. And so is there anything else the ego wants to say right now? No? Okay.
No.
Okay. So intuition, coming back to the original question, why is there lack of trust in self right now? What is happening there? How is that serving? What is it that she needs to know?
It's just a calm, peaceful feeling.
A calm, peaceful feeling? Okay. So that's good. So intuition, is there reason for lack of trust? Where's the lack of trust coming from? Is it towards self, or is it lack of trust towards this person, the relationship that's being discussed?
Just as you asked that question, the first thing that popped in is fear.
Fear. Okay, good. And so what is the fear about regarding self?
Not being loved.
Okay, good. And intuition, is that true? Is she not loved?
No.
Okay. What more can we say about love and the accessibility to being loved?
I think people in my life really love me.
Mm-hmm. And what about in the inner world and the spiritual world? What does that look like regarding the love that's supporting you right now?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot of guidance, a lot of
Okay.
just a sense of connection and presence.
Mm-hmm. So intuition, what do we need right now? Do we need to continue feeling that love in this moment in time, or are there other questions that we need to ask and move on to?
What comes up is just like there's this, it seems like there's some kind of discrepancy or
Okay.
distance between like the inner reality of me feeling my inner world, when I'm connected to my spirit
Mm-hmm.
and I really know who I am and I feel at peace. But there's something that happens, just like a gap,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, when personality kicks in.
Mm-hmm. And is
Maybe
this
that's the fear that kicks in.
okay? Is this also when you're in relationship, you feel disconnected from spirit and from yourself a bit more?
That makes sense.
Okay. So intuition, what is the gap? What do we need to know about it?
I just get this feeling or like an image of this layer of protection
Okay.
in an auric field.
Okay, so intuition, what is that protection? Is it like a karmic protection from this relationship that we're discussing? Is it self-protection from stuff that's happened in the past, from childhood stuff,
It
or what is it?
feels like a karmic, like as you said, karmic, it was, yeah, I didn't actually think about it, but it was just a yes
Okay.
inside of me. I felt, yeah, it's karmic.
Okay. So intuition, are we allowed to know about this karmic dynamic, this protection or the relationship, or is it meant to just be experienced?
What comes up is that there has been a lot of hurt and betrayal in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Past.
doesn't feel like it's this lifetime. It just feels like repetitive over many lifetimes.
So intuition, are we allowed to know if this is another repeat of this situation, or is this the lifetime where this relationship is meant to heal? That,
Yeah, so I just get the strong no that it's not a repeat. It's supposed to set it like it says set the cards right. I don't know if
okay.
that's an expression, but
Yeah.
it shows me cards and I just feel like the cards are open.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So what is in her control right now? Is there anything that she needs to be doing to help with breaking this pattern? Or is this more about the other person in the relationship right now?
When you said that, I just got this thought in my head that it's just really about self-love, like drawing more into myself.
Mm-hmm. So is it that self?
And I think from that drawing into myself and loving myself, it feels like I will accept more love
Mm,
to flow in.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. Will that also help with the self-trust intuition?
Well, I think with the self-trust, what comes up is that basically I have this fork in the road
Mm-hmm.
and I can decide what to do, and that either decision will work out fine. So there isn't like any path that will lead to a negative outcome in the end. It's literally just, it's my preference.
Okay.
It's literally, I just have a preference that I need to select whether I am on my own and I choose a different path in this lifetime, because there has been so many challenges already,
Mm-hmm.
or I choose to stay in. But the way I see it, like the staying in, there's going to be challenge, so it feels a bit more heavy, whereas the other path feels a lot more open and lighter.
Intuition, can we talk about these two options? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
As I'm listening to this, I am hearing some of that like fearful avoidant options happening right now in a sense, but it's also
Mm.
coming straight from the intuitive heart. So with the leaving, what lessons or what, I don't think we're allowed to know all the things, but with the option of leaving, what lessons come up with that decision? Or what will she learn?
It feels like a deeper sense of self-love.
Is there more? Or is that the main lesson for that choice?
Yeah, it just feels like that.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
deeper sense of self-love. Mm.
Okay, great. And then the other decision of staying that feels like it's going to be harder. What are the other lessons? I feel like there's going to be more lessons in that. So what would
Yeah,
that what does that look like? And
always.
are they necessary lessons or will they be repeated lessons for her?
I don't know if this is my intuition or my ego, but it just feels like, oh, I've done this already. I've done this.
Okay.
Do I need to go through this again? Do
Okay.
I need to put myself through this again? This feels tiresome. I think the lessons would be,
It sounds like they'll be repetitive, like you've already learned these lessons.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
I just also feel like my shoulders are sinking, like, oh, this is quite heavy.
yeah. Okay. So I do have one more question, but I think we know the answer already. Um, with the option of staying, is there anything here that has to do with fear of commitment, or is this a no, I know and I've already learned these lessons and I don't need to continue learning them again?
I think what comes up is that it's not really about me. It's more like a soul contract that I'm supposed to help my partner and help him to build him up
Okay.
and help to empower him. So it's more about service.
And so intuition, can we talk more about that then? I'm curious how this serves you.
Learning how to serve up and uplift, but I just keep getting this image of like my partner being new, if that
Being
makes sense. Not like a baby, but just
like a
new to a
new,
lot of these experience, new soul,
okay,
not new soul altogether, but new soul in this reality where I feel like I've been here many, many times,
okay.
but I feel like I'm supposed to take care and nurture him through until he finds his feet and his own power to, yeah, to stand on his own 2 feet and to sustain himself. And I think the way it serves me is just to stick to that contract and be of service and not necessarily make it about me.
Okay.
So learning not to be self-centered or selfish, I guess, maybe.
Mhm. So intuition, it like is she selfish though? Is that something that has had to be fixed?
The word that comes up is insular, not so much selfish as insular.
And so what does that mean then?
Just get like tightness in my chest. It feels like being on my own. It feels a lot lighter and it looks like sunshine. And this other path looks a little bit dimmer and heavier. But I think, like you said earlier, it's because there's no one challenging me to reach into the depths of my heart and love somebody through challenge, through the challenge that they are experiencing. So it's like I'm learning to accept the challenges of others, accept them through that, and nurture them through that experience.
I'm looking for an answer because I want to go back to the new soul and teaching the new soul. Because that sounds, as you were discussing that, it sounds like that's very much a part of who you are now. It's who you are in present life of being a coach and a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So, intuition, can we talk more about what that looks like? Is this a part of what she's supposed to be doing in this lifetime? Is it helping to teach new souls or all types of souls? Or I'm curious what this looks like.
I get this distinct feeling that my partner is like a specifically different soul.
Okay.
not like from somewhere else that is different. Well, whereas at my work, I'm connecting and teaching, the word adolescent souls comes up, or the phrase adolescent souls comes up.
Okay.
But so he is, it's almost like he's completely from a different planet or dimension. So it's all the other people, it feels like they have been here before, so they're not completely new,
Mm-hmm.
but he feels like he's very new to here.
What do we need to know about helping with this growth for him then? Because we have the relationship in itself and teaching him. And does that need to be continued in the relationship in the way it is? Or is that something that needs to be done in a different way?
I feel like it has to be done in a relationship, because through teaching him,
Mm-hmm.
I am learning. But I feel like the relationship at some stage will come to an end. And I think I feel, and I don't know if this is my own fear of abandonment, but it almost feels like I understand that this is a contract for a specific period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's going to be really difficult when it ends.
Intuition, is that true? Or is ego coming through a bit there with the feeling of the difficulty?
Yeah, maybe it is a fear of abandonment and betrayal from the ego. This is what I mean. It just gets so confusing when it comes to
Yeah,
relationships with me. It's like, yeah.
that's okay. Intuition, you can tell me if I'm on point here, but I feel like as she grows and learns to do more of that self-love and bringing that in, especially within self and that spiritual self, and be able to expand it further, that this transition out of this relationship eventually will be easier because she'll be able to hold herself in that love better. Am I on point with that? Or in the right direction? And you can say no too.
I just get this big protest from, I guess, my ego. It can be.
Okay. Why don't we let the
saying
ego
like, why am I sacrificing all of this?
sacrificing the relationship?
No, just sacrificing all the energy that I'm putting in and all the years that I'm putting in.
Ego, do you need to talk more about that, or can we speak to intuition again?
I just get this big like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I just keep going like, I don't want to do it. Like a little child that goes, no, I don't want to do it.
Okay. So thank you, ego. We're going to let intuition be the adult. And we appreciate you taking care and protecting. And we're going to see what intuition has to say on this again. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, intuition, what do you have to say about the idea of sacrificing all this energy? What's the truth?
There is an equal exchange of energy because I'm learning.
And so what does the ego need to know more than that in order to help settle it down?
The ego just needs to know that the source of love is inwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's inside.
Do you have more lessons of love, like tangible ones that we can take away or put into daily work potentially? Is there something there?
It looks like just tuning into the love within my own heart
And does that
and
come with?
feeling that
Mm-hmm.
and accepting others. It feels like being present in a relationship, but also detaching a little bit from another person's behavior,
Mm-hmm.
like not taking it personally.
Mm-hmm. And so in those moments when we need to detach, is it okay to tune into the other person to feel their energy and understand what is going on for them so that we know that it's not about us?
So the images that I get in my mind is literally just taking a pause and not speaking and breathing into my own heart
Mm-hmm.
and letting the other person just pause to receive themselves and contemplate their own actions and words and what's going on for them without me interfering in that.
Okay, so each person staying in their own energy bubble, basically, in that during those times to come back to
Yeah,
yourself.
because I think I just did, yeah, I think I used to do the opposite, almost like leave my body
Mm-hmm.
to be with the other person.
Or in mesh, so like your colors are combining
Mm,
instead of being separate.
mm.
Intuition, is there more that we need to know here about this relationship, about clarity, self-love, self-trust? Is there somewhere you'd like us to go?
The clarity will come when I stop reacting.
And is there more support for how to not react, or was that what we just gave?
Yeah, it's just constantly tuning into the love in my own heart.
And then what else? So again, the clarity, trust in self, lack of trust, self-love. Was there anything else that we needed to know?
Just feels like a very deep rest by just sitting back into myself, just allowing the play to unfold without having to change it or manipulate it or fix it or do anything with it. It's just completely letting go.
Okay.
Not into apathy, but it's just like this deep sense of love. It
Mm-hmm.
just keeps coming back to that, like a deep sense of love being grounded in my heart and just letting the external do whatever it does.
For clarity, I think I'm clear on this, but that means there's no need to engage unless it's about loving ourselves, meaning, we need to set a boundary or express a need. And then those are the times to engage, but otherwise don't get pulled into other people's stuff. Is that about right?
I think it's more about it's not always being like distant and disengaged, but there is a certain quality of energy that it's like this push and pull
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship. And in those moments, it's about stepping back and staying in myself. And when the energy is different, there of course can be engagement and support and love and but it's
Intuition, we're going to close up shortly. So is there any last thing that we need to know that she needs to know right now?
that work will work out. That I'm heading into a very special spiritual time. It feels like the road is just opening up in front of me. It just feels like a beam of light that is like it's funnel, and then it becomes a big, like a headlight, or
So like a
see it in
guiding.
my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a funnel out. Like there is a pathway opening, and I feel like there are things happening or opportunities that are going to come that I'm really not expecting.
That's very exciting.
Hmm.
And so in that too, it sounds like even with the path that we were talking about before, you said one feels like light and one feels like heavy and darker is how I was picturing it. So it sounds like opening up your path to light is the
Hmm.
way to go.
Yeah, I think regardless which path I choose, it almost feels like that is not the main goal or the objective, or
Yeah.
that is just like a secondary thing. Like what I'm stepping into is like the energetic space and mission, and that I'm supposed to be following on my spiritual path.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, intuition, for coming through so strongly today. And thank you, ego, for also coming and speaking up when you needed to. So you can take a breath and yeah, come back in. How was that?
Yeah, so beautiful. And it's quite deep.
Hmm. Were you able to start to feel the difference when ego kind of came in a little bit more and then you went back into intuition?
Yeah, I think you helped me a lot with that. Your guidance really helped me a lot. Because like I say, because it's so much less personal with other things in my life, it's so much easier to follow my intuition.
Hmm.
But because in relationships, I think there's been so much hurt, and then the protections want to step in, but it's still such a very physical feeling
Hmm.
that it's easy to confuse the two for me. So I think now that you have helped me to distinguish the two, it's going to be a lot easier for me
Hmm.
to notice that. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. I think it's a lot harder too with our relationships as well because we do co-regulate with one another, right? So if someone's off, then it might throw us into fight or flight, and then we can't like it takes that much more to get back into that state of self kind
Mm,
of thing. So I
yes.
think I think that's what happens. So I think it's pretty normal.
Mm, yeah. And I think just through life, and experiences, it can be really cross-wired. Like because those senses can be so strong. Like
Hmm.
the protective senses of like, oh, this doesn't feel good, but it's most probably it doesn't feel good because I felt it somewhere in the past, or I'm projecting the past into this moment,
Hmm.
um, versus intuitive wisdom, which just feels a lot more light and clear and open.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It feels really just feels good. Intuition just feels nice.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel good.
Hmm.
Yeah, it does feel good, even if the truth is a little bit challenging. I think it still feels good. Whereas that ego, I find, is just like very persistent,
Hmm.
and it creates this tug of war inside,
Yeah.
where I don't feel that with intuition. Intuition is just like a flow of information.
Yeah. Yeah. I found that ego kind of is like, in science when they talk about the electrons in as like solid liquid gas, and it's like the gas form where they just are bouncing all around in your body, and so your body feels
Yes.
like like chaotic.
Oh, that's a great image. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great image.
Yeah. Yeah. And then intuition is I never get that image when I have intuition. It's just nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for guiding that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for sticking with me for the entirety of this intuition coaching session. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if this is something that you are interested in trying yourself, please feel free to reach out to me. All of my information is in my profile, and I love being able to help others get in tune with their soul voice and their intuitive voice. And stay tuned, because I will be doing events on Insight Timer as well. And you may very well get a chance to learn how to get a better connection with your intuitive voice through those events. Thanks for listening.